Nike versus ASICS. Who's actually winning right now? One of these companies needed a nearly $1 billion tariff refund just to keep its earnings from looking worse this quarter. The other just posted its best first quarter ever, with growth in every single category in every single region. We're talking about Nike and ASICS. And today we're using their actual financial filings, not just resale gossip, to find out who's really winning. Let's dive in. Welcome back to SneakPrice. Quick disclaimer, everything here is market data and informed opinion, not financial or investment advice, and every figure is a snapshot from when we research it, not a live number. With that said, let's get into the actual numbers. Quick snapshot before we dig in. Nike's most recent quarter revenue down 1% reported, down 4% once you strip out currency effects. ASICS' most recent quarter revenue up nearly 30%. That's not a small gap, but it's also not the whole story, and by the end of this video, you'll see why. Nike's numbers, real, but complicated. Nike's most recent quarter brought in $97 billion, technically beating estimates. But look closer, 52 cents of that quarter's earnings per share came from an expected tariff refund. Strip that out, and adjusted earnings were just 20 cents a share. Greater China revenue dropped somewhere between 12 and 17%, depending on which part of their own reporting you look at. Either way, a real decline. And Nike stock is down somewhere in the 35 to 42% range over the past year. But Nike does have one real bright spot, running. Nike Running just posted its fifth consecutive quarter of double-digit growth, adding roughly $1 billion to the business. That's not a fluke, it's Nike's own official earnings data, lining up with something we've covered on the show before, the performance running crossover trend that's also been lifting ASE, SEQK, and Salomon. Nike isn't losing everywhere. It's specifically losing in lifestyle and in China, while winning in running. ASICS' numbers, genuinely exceptional. Straight from ASICS' own investor relations filings, revenue up 7% year over year, operating profit up 5%, net profit up 2%, all record highs for first quarter. Sports style, the category that includes the Gel L1130, grew 6%. Every single region posted growth. And ASICS maintained its full-year guidance for another 20% operating profit growth. Here's the part that needs real nuance. ASICS' resale growth story already happened. ASICS was StockX's #1 fastest-growing sneaker brand 2 years in a row, 600% growth in the first half of 2024, then 71% growth in the first half of 2025. But in StockX's most recent full report, covering all of 2025, ASICS isn't on the fastest-growing list anymore. That's Mizuno now, up 120%. ASICS instead graduated into the best-selling tier, ranking alongside Nike itself as one of StockX's top 5 best-selling sneaker brands, 3 years running. What that actually means, ASICS' explosive resale growth phase is behind it. It already leveled up into an established top-tier brand. Its corporate business, meanwhile, is still accelerating hard. Two different stories at two different stages, both genuinely strong. So who's actually winning? It depends what you're measuring. On raw resale high growth, that title now belongs to Mizuno, not ASICS. On sustained proven bestseller status, ASICS and Nike are literally standing next to each other on StockX's own top 5 lists. And on pure corporate financial momentum, right now, it's not close. ASICS is compounding double-digit growth across the board while Nike is managing a genuine slowdown. Different questions, different answers. Which is exactly why Nike versus ASICS is in a one-line verdict. What we know, ASICS has maintained full-year guidance for roughly 20% operating profit growth, and Nike's own CFO has said to expect flattish results through at least the first half of next fiscal year. What we think is an informed read. If that guidance holds on both sides, the corporate gap between the two companies likely widens before it narrows, though Nike's running category, where it's actually growing, is the one part of its business worth watching closely for a faster turnaround. Neither is a guarantee. If you remember 3 things, Nike's headline earnings beat masks real weakness in China and a stock down over a third, but running is a genuine bright spot. ASICS' corporate growth right now is about as strong as this industry gets, full stop. And on the resale side specifically, ASICS' hyper-growth phase already happened. It's now a proven top-tier seller, while Mizuno is today's actual growth story. That's Nike versus ASICS, using both companies' own numbers. Not financial advice, just what the filings actually say. Subscribe for next week's report and track live sneaker data yourself at sneakpriceapp.com. See you next week.